let's go to this. This was me on the Peter Schiff show today. I wasn't sure I was going to run this, but it was actually pretty good. We were thinking about making it members only, but Matt was like, no, it's too fun. People will enjoy it. Next one we'll make for members only, which is, that's the way, guys like me who like to posthumously convert you. This is what I'm trying to convert you now that you're alive to a member without you'll actually have to take the final step. Okay. So here is the interview. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Peter Schiff is arguing from a libertarian perspective. Now, I think philosophically, you could argue that this is another government mandate and our freedom is inhibited in some way, but he doesn't, you could argue that. I don't see it. But what he takes this argument into a place that essentially is a data argument. And unfortunately for Peter, he does not have the data. He's incorrect. And I will go into this more deeply in the post show, exactly what the data says. But you should know, listen, remember, it's a radio interview, so going into the weeds is not necessarily in the best interest of anybody. But apparently talking over each other is, which, it's radio. Okay, here it is.
We now return to the Peter Schiff Show. Call in now, 855-4-SCHIFF. That's 855-472-4433. Rebel Radio, the Peter Schiff Show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Peter Schiff here at SchiffRadio.com. Joining the show right now is Sam Seder, who is a comedian, writer, actor, talk radio host, film director, TV producer. Been wearing a lot of hats. He's also an occasional guest host on Countdown with Keith Olbermann. He's the co-host of the nationally syndicated progressive radio interview program Ring of Fire. He co-hosted by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Florida-based attorney Mike Papantonio. He's also co-hosted along with Janine Garofalo on-air American Radio's The Majority Report. Needless to say, we're probably going to have a bit of a debate here. Sam, welcome to the Peter Schiff Show.
Thanks for having me, Peter. Boy, I'll tell you, I'm exhausted just by how much stuff I do.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you had some time to come on the show. So I think you came on in large part to talk about the Obama, compromise now with respect to the mandate that Catholic churches be required to provide their employees or their female employees with free birth control. I mean, what do you think of the president's position on this issue?
Well, I don't think you characterized his original mandate quite correctly. He didn't say that Catholic churches have to provide their employees. All religious institutions like that are completely exempt, as they've always been. What he said was that if there are institutions that are run that are not primarily in the business of providing religious services, in other words, like a hospital or a school, in those instances, if the institution offers prescription drug care, they cannot deny contraceptive or, frankly, any other drugs based on their own whim. If they offer prescription drugs, they've got to offer that one. And I think the compromise. I'm sorry. The compromise was essentially that the churches or the institutions no longer have to pay for that. That's a deal basically the administration has struck with insurance companies, where the insurance companies will simply provide it so that it won't offend the sensibilities, I guess, of any of the employers.
But, of course, the insurance companies are going to have to get the money by charging those institutions more money for the people who do have coverage, because they're not going to provide it for free. So the churches will ultimately be paying for
it. Actually, no.
As
part of the
directly.
Affordable Care Act, the president, the deal, and the insurance companies will not be passing on those costs. In many instances, frankly, a lot of those insurance companies will
How can they prevent them from from doing it? I mean, how can they prevent them from passing on the costs? I don't understand how that's possible.
Well, I think under the Affordable Care Act, that's part of the deal. You know, the insurance companies got a big benefit out of this. They're going to get a lot of new customers, and in many instances, the insurance companies end up saving money because it prevents. You know, as you know, there are millions upon millions of women who take birth control. Not necessarily as contraceptives, but because it deals with other medical issues that they have.
Although that argument is not going to fly with me. You see, if insurance companies believed that they would save money by providing the free birth control, the government wouldn't have to require it. They would do it on their own. The fact that they're not doing it and that the government has to force them to do it means it doesn't save them money. It's going to increase the cost of providing health insurance, and it's just going to make health insurance
Well, I think the problem in the past,
the
problem in the past is the insurance companies, when they're dealing with an institution that has problems with contraception, even though it may be in their best interest to do it, the institutions won't buy that insurance. And so they don't offer it. I mean, so this isn't a situation where necessarily, you know, the insurance companies have an option. They can either save themselves a little money by offering free contraception, or they can get the contract with this institution, and now they don't have to make that choice.
I don't think, you know, I think that the insurance companies, if it saves them money, they would do it. I don't think
but
the
Peter,
government
if I said to you, I'm going to
best.
offer you a product that is in my best interest, but you have a moral problem with it, you're not going to buy that product, then I'm going to say, okay, fine. You know, I'm not going to get those savings on offering free birth control, but I still get your contract. So, you know, they're still working in their best interest there.
I would argue that there is not going to be a savings. This is going to increase the cost. And, you know, I think there's a bigger issue here. I understand this issue between separation in church or state, and I don't want to minimize it, but I think it's masking a bigger issue. I don't believe that there is any constitutional authority for the government to mandate anybody provide anything for free, let alone birth control. Why do I have to provide I have a small company, Euro Pacific Capital. I have over 100 employees. A number of them are women. How can the government tell me that I have to offer insurance to my employees that gives women free contraception? What's the justification or the authorization for the federal government to do that?
Well, it's the authorization comes from the Civil Rights Act. If you offer prescription care, and now you can choose not to offer any prescription drugs, and in which case you got no problem. But if you're offering prescription drugs and you're specifically denying a class of people who work for you a drug that is would be helpful to them, then you've got a problem based on the Civil Rights Act.
Well, first of all, you got two problems there. First of all, number one, the prescription drug plan that I have now, there's copays. I mean, you don't get the drugs for free. You just get the drugs at a reduced price. This is saying that you have to provide birth control for free. No, so that's different than all the other stuff that I provide. And of course, this is not about civil rights. If a woman wants free birth control and I don't offer it, she can take a job at a company that does offer it. You know, if that's what's important to her.
Well, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there are 25 million
cheaper
people.
When you buy it than when you get it for free from the government.
I don't subscribe to this notion that people can just simply walk away from their jobs and easily find another one. I'm not sure, what's happening over in the world that you live in, but in the world that I live in, people are very fortunate to have jobs. Now, listen, at the end of the day, I would much rather see a Medicare buy-in for all people or a government-sponsored insurance program, because I think this is one of the big problems, is that people's freedom is completely curtailed by the fact that that I need health care, I don't have the option to go and pursue a job that I necessarily like better or offer me better situation because I need that health care.
Let me throw this out at you. What if I have a female employee, and right now she doesn't get any birth control from me, but she spends $500 a year on her contraception? I'm just making up a number. It probably isn't that much, but let's say she spends $500 a year.
Oh, it's definitely $500. It's definitely It's
all right,
over
let me finish my point.
Okay.
All right, so let's say she's spending $500 a year, and now
Well,
I
let's say
provide it to her for
900, but
free.
okay.
But let's whatever. Let's just say it's 500. It doesn't matter. So let's say she's spending $500, and I decide that now she's going to get it for free. But because my health insurance premiums now go up, I reduce her pay by $1,000 a year. So now she's earning $1,000 a year less, but she's getting her free birth control. She's worse off because she's getting free birth control because I had to reduce her pay by a lot more than what she used to pay for birth control.
Well, first of all, Peter, I think the preponderance of the evidence is that actually your premiums are not going to go up. And
why wouldn't they?
Well, because listen, I got news for you. If I have a car, let's put it just in terms of a car. I can either pay for my oil change or I can not change my oil, and I'm going to have much bigger problems down the road. I mean, that's what.
Yeah, but auto insurance.
I'm not talking about insurance. I'm simply talking about the idea
that covers your oil change.
Of maintenance. Preventative care saves money for insurance companies down the road. Any actuarial will tell you
You're missing the point. Sam, there isn't an auto insurance company in existence that covers an oil change. Right? So
I'm not talking.
If what you're saying is true, why aren't the insurance companies giving free oil changes with their premiums?
Well, let me put it this way. If you get regular checkups, you're going to save an insurance company money because down the road, every insurance company will tell you that preventative care is better than waiting for a problem to get worse.
Then answer my question. Why don't insurance policies come with free oil changes?
Why don't in car insurance?
What? Yes.
Well,
if
car insurance don't
cover. Provide it for free?
Right, but in fact, health insurance companies do encourage wellness programs. They do institute this.
Yes,
they do give you free, and they do.
Yeah, but if they're not doing it now, and the government is forcing them to do something, it's because it doesn't lower their costs. First of all,
no, but Peter, we've gone through this.
The reason why insurance companies birth control is birth control. It's not health insurance.
Peter, I answered that. The reason why insurance companies do not offer free contraceptive care to clients that are run by religious institutions is because those religious institutions would go and seek out a different insurance company because they don't want to have their moral sensibilities tainted.
Forget about the religious institutions. My employees right now don't get free birth control. And I'm not a religious institution. So Obama is saying that I now have to provide my female employees with free birth control. I'm not doing it now, but they're saying you have to do it. So where is the money going to come from to do that? I've got to cut the salary of my workers, my female workers, so that I can afford it.
Well, I mean, listen, if you cut the salaries for your female workers, they're in the same situation at that point as they would have been otherwise, I guess, is your argument.
And you know what?
But at the end of the day, it costs, listen, by the time you give them $1,000,
let me finish this.
Peter, let me finish my point. Let me address it. By the time you give them $1,000,
cut their pay.
By the time you give them $1,000
for their birth control, even though they don't use it.
By the time,
anyway, we'll be back. We'll continue this discussion. You're listening to the Peter Schiff Show here at SchiffRadio.com.
To President Obama, Secretary Geithner, Madam Pelosi, and all of the socialist econ professors across America, we're sorry. Peter Schiff is back on the air.
This is Peter Schiff. I'm back on with Sam Seder here talking about free birth control. Of course, there is no such thing as a free lunch or free birth control, and there is nothing that is as expensive as what the government provides for free. Hey, Sam, I want to ask you a question. Would you concede that right now there are some women who are, when they're evaluating which method of birth control to use, let's say there's a woman who's not very sexually active, she looks at the birth control pill, sees, well, that's kind of expensive, I don't have a lot of sex, so she decides to maybe have a diaphragm or use condoms. Would you say that's probably a decision that a lot of women make, and they opt for a less expensive form of birth control because they don't think they need the more expensive kind?
I suppose it's possible. I mean, I haven't seen the data on it. What I have seen is that 2000, the study by the National Business Group on Health, which estimates that not providing contraceptive coverage in employee health plans ends up costing employers 15 to 17% more than providing such coverage because of the health benefits,
then
because of complications.
Provide it. Sam, if that's the case, employers will provide it on their
listen,
own. They
Peter,
don't need any encouragement
just
from
like
government
you
to save
didn't
money.
even,
But
Peter,
let
just
me
like you
finish the
didn't know,
question.
hold on for a second. Just like you didn't know about that study, employers don't always have all the facts. We don't live in a perfect world
All right,
where
so then
everyone
give
has
them
the most
facts.
information.
Don't force them to do something. Let the government put out the facts and let businesses make a decision. But anyway, here's my point. If birth control is free, right? If it's free, then cost is no longer an issue, right? A woman will choose whichever kind she wants. She won't care what it costs, correct?
I believe so, sure. I mean, I guess
right.
it's a function of, there's other health decisions. I mean, it's, when you go on the contraceptive pill, there's other implications.
Right, but the government, by making birth control free, price is no longer a concern. Therefore, what's going to happen is a lot of women who are now using condoms will decide that they're just going to go on the pill. And so a lot more people are going to use the pill. The cost of birth control is going to go up in this country. And, of course, the manufacturers of the pill or other methods are now going to have no resistance to raising their prices. Hey, it doesn't matter. We can jack our prices up through the roof. We're not going to lose a single customer because nobody is paying for it. So what we're going to do is make birth control a lot more expensive and, therefore, health insurance a lot more costly.
No, I don't think so, Peter. I mean, in the case of the contraceptive pill, there's a lot more competition in the marketplace. You've seen the end of market exclusivity and patents on that, which would prevent copycat
But that
medicine.
competition is going to go away when it comes to... Hold on,
no,
let me
there
finish.
isn't just
That
one birth control maker in this
when
country,
it comes
Peter.
to price.
Listen, there's no... Listen,
Sam,
Peter,
let me make this
your
point.
entire
You're
argument
talking about
is
competition
premised
when women are shopping
on
based on
facts
price.
that are
They
not
are
supported
no
by
longer going to
data.
compete on price.
Peter,
They will compete on
your
other things. Like, hey, this birth control
argument
pill really helps your complexion. So
on
take this.
facts that
Price
are not
is no longer
supported
going
by
to be a
the
competition.
data. I don't know what to
Price is
tell
going to be
you.
no object.
I didn't do these
Price is going to
studies.
go through the roof.
I didn't do these studies. The reason why this is in any way a controversy has nothing to do with cost. It has to do with the fact that there were religious institutions that didn't want to provide birth control because of their moral
I don't care
reason.
about the religious part of it.
Exactly.
I'm
Well,
talking
everything
about-
else is settled because we've seen the data. The data is
not
out there.
settled.
It saves money to provide this preventative care. That's the bottom line.
If it
that's
was
why.
in
That's
the
why
insurance
this is
company's interest, if it really reduced costs, they would provide it anyway.
In many instances, they do. And the fact of the matter is that if you've got drug companies,
then let them do it.
Well,
but I don't do it, Sam. This is what's going to happen, and I will make a bet with you if you want to bet me money. I will bet if this thing goes through, a few years from now, we will see. Hold on, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. We're going to see more unwanted pregnancies because people are going to be irresponsible with the pill because the people who don't have birth control now, it's not because they can't afford it. It's because they're probably too irresponsible to buy it. But we're going to have more unwanted pregnancies. We're going to have more, we're going to have more STDs because fewer people will use condoms. And we're going to see a huge increase in the cost of all contraception and all insurance. That's what's going to happen.
Well, I think we're going to see a huge increase in the cost of insurance because we have runaway medical costs in this country. But as to everything else you're saying, there's absolutely no data to support what you're saying. So, I mean, it may sound
there's
intuitive
a lot of
to you,
data.
and you weren't even aware of these studies that show that it actually decreases costs for employers. It decreases costs for insurers.
And you're talking about providing it for free, no copay, no deductible, absolutely free?
Exactly.
So you get all the birth control you want. It costs you nothing.
People can look it up. It's the study by the National Business Group on Health. It was out in 2000. I think there was a report out by the Guttmacher Institute that came out I think it was last year, that showed the same thing. I mean, look, we do have problems with healthcare. I'll agree with you that we have a patent system and a market exclusivity for these corporations that make pharmaceutical products that benefits these companies, and I would love to see a rollback of that. I think there are other ways in which you can...
What we need is a rollback of the FDA. That's what makes it so expensive to develop these products. It's the FDA that drives up the cost. And you're right, we have runaway healthcare costs because the government has taken competition out of healthcare, just like they're taking it now out of birth control. The biggest winners from this bill are the manufacturers of birth control devices. That's who's going to make a fortune, because now there's going to be huge
I would
demand.
also argue that big
Industries.
winners out of this are also women who are faced with closer to $900 to $1,000 a year of cost. We're going to see health improvements with these women, and
But they're not going to get that for free. They're not going to get birth control for free. The women are going to pay for it. It's going to cost women even more for birth control when it's free, because women's wages are going to decline by a lot more than the value of that birth control. Mark my words, there is nothing for free.
Well, then
Women
I think then as an employer, if you start to pay your women less, you're going to have a problem with the EEOC because that's not legal.
That's what's going to happen. And you know what's also going to happen? Some young women are going to find it harder to get jobs because employers are going to say, well, gee, if I hire this woman, I got to give her free birth control. So if it's a low salary job, I'll just hire
Peter,
the guy.
I'll tell you what,
I mean,
if you can show me data
of
of that in 5 years, if you can show me data that young women are having a tougher time finding jobs because of this birth control measure, that is actually something that, despite the fact that we have obviously different capacity to sustain a bet, that's something I would bet you money on.
All right. Well, do you employ anybody right now, Sam?
I do.
All right. Well, when you hire people, is cost an issue? When do you look at what you pay them, or do you evaluate what you'd have to pay them?
It's one element, yes. Their skill set
right. So if
what they bring to what I'm doing. There's a lot of different things.
So
yes.
if the government makes it more expensive to hire women, if women come with a higher price tag than men, then
30 seconds.
Are going to hire fewer women relative to men.
Yes, and if there was data to support that assertion, Peter, then you might have an argument. But there is no data to make that assertion. You don't. The numbers simply don't agree with you, Peter.
Basic econ, it's supply and demand.
I understand, but the numbers don't agree that it's going to cost employers more.
If it's less expensive, I'll buy more. If it's free,
the data's just not there, Peter. You can't make up numbers.
I don't even need. Anyway, we'll be right back. Thanks for coming on the show. We got another hour of the Peter Schiff Show coming up, so stick around.